Thom Hartmann here with you. Boy, Donald Trump, and we just spent an hour with Congressman Mark Pocan taking your calls for the hour. That was great, and he brought us up to date on all the stuff that the Congressional Progressive Caucus is doing. Their first piece of legislation, H.R. 1, the first piece of legislation that will be introduced in January by the new Congress, is going to be a bill that basically, specifically, in fact, Congressman Pocan said he wrote this language into the bill as a result of being on this program and talking to you. He said so many people had called to talk about interstate crosscheck and voter suppression that we specifically put interstate crosscheck, a ban on the use of interstate crosscheck into the bill. And, it's to clean up our voting systems and make it, difficult, expensive, a huge hassle, whatever, fill in the word for Republicans to suppress your right to vote. Because this has become their singular electoral strategy. It's truly breathtaking that even fear didn't work for them this time. Fear has always worked for Republicans. Fear of people of color in particular, and fear of the Soviets, fear of Russians, fear of, you name it. Fear has always been, since Nixon's Southern strategy in '68. The last Republican president who did not run on fear was Dwight Eisenhower. And in 1952, he ran a campaign in which, in fact, the slogan for the campaign, remarkably, was "Vote for peace, vote for Eisenhower." Seriously, I mean, this is how extraordinary it is, and in fact, maybe I've got that clip. I'm not sure, but so here we have Donald Trump, who is just running pure pathetic, and to the point that Paris, I mean, this guy has become such a loser, and he's hiding out in the White House, and hanging out on the web. It's really just astonishing. I mean, as I was talking about this yesterday, I'm very concerned that Donald Trump may be thinking about, starting a war or something to distract people from what a loser he is. And I'm particularly concerned that his followers are starting to freak out. And this is, I mean, it's not that I love that his followers are following him and all that kind of stuff, but it's like, oh, here it is right here. Eisenhower, vote for peace. I mean, this is how Republicans used to run.
He has met Europe's leaders, has got them working with us. Elect the #1 man for the #1 job of our time. November 4th, vote for peace. Vote for Eisenhower. A paid film.
A paid film. I mean, vote for peace, right? When was the last time you heard that from a Republican? So he's got nothing but fear, and fear isn't working. And so what's he going to turn to? And here's where it gets really bad. I mean, Trump is a bully. He's an authoritarian. And, according to most of the good psychological research, about 20% of us are authoritarians. The vast majority of authoritarians, well over 90%, are actually authoritarian followers. They're people who want a big daddy leader, and specifically a male big daddy leader, typically. They want to be told what to do. They want to be reassured. They want somebody else to say, "Don't worry, I'll keep you safe." They are, fundamentally insecure and frightened. That's at the core of their personality. And so when an authoritarian leader comes forward and says, "I alone can save you. I will save the world," and there's any evidence that that's the case, like getting elected president, they jump into line with this guy, which is exactly what happened with Trump. But see, this is the difference between Obama taking a shellacking and Trump taking a shellacking. Obama said, hey, in 2010 we lost the House, we lost, the Senate. It was just a terrible thing. We took a shellacking. But he didn't characterize himself as a loser. He didn't go into a depression. He didn't freak out. He kept moving. Donald Trump, however, it's so obvious that he's a loser, and he's had nothing to say except, "Well, it's not my fault. And there's voter fraud, and it's brown people, and I don't know what it is." And what's happened is that this winter bubble, to paraphrase Digby, this winter bubble that had surrounded Trump among his beloved followers, his acolytes, has burst. And, you know, and people are now saying, well, you know, it doesn't seem like, you know, you're that big a deal. And, I mean, because literally these people get their own sense of validation, of self-worth, of safety in the world from being the loyal follower of the successful leader. And the successful leader is no longer successful. He is vulnerable, he's weak, he's pathetic, he makes excuses, he lies. His family are a bunch of grifters. He's brought a whole bunch of grifters in to head the various departments, and it's all coming out. We're figuring it out. And this is both tragic and dangerous. But I think this is what accounts for like the 8-point drop in Trump's popularity just over the last week. He's now seen by his own people, his authoritarian followers, as a loser. And then on the 13th of November, yesterday, on the 13th of November, Trump was tweeting attacking France. Yesterday was the day that France memorializes the 2015 mass slaughter of 150 people. It was a day of mourning for France. And Trump attacked their wine industry, their behavior in 2 world wars, and Macron's approval ratings on Twitter. So the official spokesman for the French government says, you know, yesterday we were marking the murder of 130 of our people. Common decency would have been appropriate.